Hey guys, Alex here. Sweaty in the middle of a run in the forest. As is often the case, I'm with none other than my good friend Josie, who's got a stick. She's very energized at the moment. She's been doing a bit of swimming. Thinking about something interesting to talk about for video. Haven't been checking in for a while. It's a lovely sunny day here in May in the UK near London. And one of the things that came to mind was the idea that because we've all been spending a lot of time now in lockdown, at least for most of us, either living alone or with flatmates or with our parents perhaps, like is the case with me, there's this sense that maybe when we finally do emerge and finally do start to interact with people and find ourselves going back to work and finding jobs and that kind of thing, we're going to be so out of sync with how to function, especially socially. You know, how we're going to come out really rusty and unable to have proper dialogues with people because we've been so kind of out of it for so long. You know, have we lost our social skills? I'm looking a little bit ill, but that's just because I've been running. But that's certainly something that's come to mind with me. It's like I don't want to go get overly anxious and overly depressed around what it's like to return into the real world because we haven't had so much practice. So I just wanted to talk about a few things we can do to anticipate emerging into the real world. Come on, Jose. She's found a little friend. And how we can keep our social skills flex, but more than that, how we can keep our mental health in a good state as we continue into the next few weeks or even months, maybe even years of this lockdown. I shudder to think that it would be years, but it could be. So what can we do to keep ourselves sharp, keep our minds clean and clear and positive, and get us ready for interacting with real human beings once the time comes in a way that doesn't bring us fear or unnecessary anxiety? So for the first thing is really just to take advantage of Zoom, of Skype, of the friendships we have remotely right now, and the ability to take advantage of digital media to keep in touch with friends. You know, make the first move, reach out to people who you haven't spoken to in a while, and just say, let's just have a catch up on Zoom for 30 minutes or something, and use that as an opportunity to keep your social skills mobile and flowing, and get you out of your head for a bit, because we spend a lot of our time in our heads. Joe's, come on. Watching playing video games, watching TV, that kind of stuff. It's good to have the opportunity to socialize. Of course, there's that. And obviously do what you can to perhaps meet people now in parks and things on maybe you have to socially distance, but all that kind of stuff is pretty obvious. But what I wanted to just drive home is the idea that actually even though a lot of people say that we're social beings, right? We're social beings, we need human interaction to be happy, essentially, to not get depressed and not feel isolated and not be overcome with loneliness. Here's the thing. I don't believe we need social interaction to be happy, because that goes against my personal understanding of how reality works, which is that everything comes from inside of us. Our entire experience is internal, which means that there's nothing in the outside world that can have an impact on how we feel and how we behave, and that includes other people. I've got people walking around me at the moment, which is why I want to get to a place where I can concentrate. And so it doesn't. So when we think, oh no, I'm not getting enough social interaction, it doesn't mean that we're losing our self-esteem. It doesn't mean that we're becoming less. Hello, dog. We're becoming less able to function as people. We are as we always were. It's just that we think we might be struggling. So what I'm saying is, I'm getting a little bit distracted here, but what I'm saying is that we don't need to connect with others to stay functioning as humans, right? We can function just as well whether we're in a cabin all alone in the woods for years, or if we're always socializing and extroverting and all that kind of stuff. So don't let that worry you. If you've been away from humans for a long time, it doesn't mean that you're degenerating, okay? You're only degenerating to the extent that you think you are, and that's all that matters. And so in that respect, in that vein, what we can do to stay fresh and stay healthy, stay mentally stable, is to not worry that we're degenerating because we aren't seeing people, to see people as much as we can, because that's always a positive thing. It makes us feel good and all that kind of stuff, and you might as well do things that make you feel better. But at the heart of it, it isn't the people around you that's making you feel better, it's your interpretation of it, okay? And if we interpret ourselves to be struggling and suffering because we're not making social interactions with others, we are going to make things harder for ourselves. Am I talking sense? So that gives us a lot of freedom in a sense, because it means that if we can understand that our self-esteem, our sense of happiness, our confidence only comes from inside of us, then really we are free to remain healthy, remain happy, no matter what our circumstances are. And obviously our circumstances for many are not ideal right now in this lockdown, right? But don't let it get to you. Just do what you can to interact with others for now. But realize that if you get an unhealthy thought that says, I'm becoming a freak or I'm losing my social skills, realize it's just a thought. It's just an idea that is being put forward as a suggestion from your mind, your personal mind. And it doesn't need to be correct. It doesn't need to be something that you listen to. It doesn't need to be something that you believe in, okay? It can be something that you just let go of. And that's the real magic in maintaining mental stability, right? Maintaining so-called mental health. I mean, I put it in quotes because there isn't such a thing as mental health. We are already innately mentally healthy, and the only way we bring on suffering is through the thoughts we put into our heads, and more accurately, the thoughts we cling to, because thoughts are always going to be flowing through, and all we need to do is let go of those thoughts to maintain the clarity that we need, and the clarity that makes us who we are, right? So, to reiterate, we've been in lockdown for a while. Many of us might be getting worried that we are losing our social skills and that we're going to be having trouble functioning when we emerge into the real world and start talking with other people. I can totally relate to that. I worry sometimes more than I need to when I'm approaching someone and I can't remember how to speak English. I sort of worry that I'm going to start stumbling over my words and that kind of stuff. And this is what happens when you overthink, and that's really what it all is. That's all it is. It's overthinking. And the trick, really, right now, is to turn this into an opportunity, right? So we have a lot of time by ourselves. We have a lot of time to slow down, to be in solitude, perhaps. This is now the opportunity to, whenever a thought that is unhelpful arises, to let go of it. Okay, and notice when that thought arises, and especially if it's a thought around I'm not being social enough, or I'm not stretching my social muscles, I'm not interacting with humans enough. That's a perfect opportunity to say, you know what, that's okay. Nothing is changing as a result of my circumstances within me, because I'm always who I am. I'm always and admittedly right now rather scruffy human being, but happy, right? We're all already as confident and happy and as free as we need to be, and we're only as limited and we're only as lacking as we think we are. And of course the thought is just bollocks, okay? Thoughts are suggestions that we can either take as useful tools or we can drop them, and if they're unhelpful and if they make you feel bad, let them go, okay? That's my thought for the day. I hope to be sharing more videos with you, and more frequently as well on these kinds of topics. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you like this video if you indeed liked it, and tell your friends about this channel. I'll be doing many more useful videos around mental health, confidence, anxiety, NoFap, writing, creativity, productivity, that kind of stuff. Take care, guys. Speak soon.